When searching for a new TV, there's a few things you should look out for depending on your needs. One of the first things a consumer usually looks at besides the price is the screen size, measured diagonally, and the resolution. Full HD 1080p is still currently the standard for digital TV broadcasting, but with the help of modern UHD Blu-ray players and websites like YouTube and Netflix, more and more 4K content is becoming available. So if you're wanting to future-proof yourself, going after a 4K TV will make sure you're set for years to come. The size of the screen in combination with resolution will determine the optimal distance you should view your TV from. The TV we're looking at today is from a brand called MYNE. It's a 55-inch LED display sitting at 4K resolution. Now, to figure out how far away you should place your screen, there are a few handy websites out there to calculate this. Just keep in mind that having a higher resolution display means you can get away with sitting a lot closer than usual while still having a very clear picture. Next is viewing angles. Because the TV is usually in the center of a room, you want a wide viewing angle to allow more family members to view the content. So looking for a TV with close to 180 degrees of view angle is important. The TV we have here is 178 degrees, both horizontal and vertical. This means that colors won't shift as you move around the display, and you have freedom to sit where you want in a room. With this TV in particular, the colors were fine, but contrast seemed to shift a little as you got further towards the edges. It was very minor, and overall this TV does have impressive viewing angles. Another thing to keep in mind is bezels. Not just the thickness, but also the color. Going with the screen with black bezels helps your eyes focus in on the content a lot easier compared to white or silver. Gaming is also another big feature in the living room, so speed is important. Choosing a TV with an array of inputs is helpful, and refresh rate is also important to keep things smooth. This feature is usually measured in hertz or cycles per second. The TV we have here is a 60 Hz monitor with only 8 milliseconds response time. What this means is the image on the screen is refreshed 60 times every second, which is good for any current gen consoles or computers able to output at 60 FPS. Another good thing about this particular TV is the I/O. With 4 HDMI inputs for all your modern devices, and also RCA if you happen to have an older DVD player or older generation consoles you still want to be able to use. Next is mounting. Most TVs come with a stand or feet that you can screw into the bottom. But if you want a little more flexibility, looking for a VESA compatible display should be something to keep in mind. VESA is a universal mounting standard, and buying a TV with a VESA mount will ensure you can purchase wall mounts or monitor arms to go along with it. And the last thing to look out for is contrast ratio. A TV's contrast ratio is a range from peak white to the darkest black. A greater difference between these 2 points is usually better, and a good contrast ratio is ideal for watching movies in the dark and getting a cinematic feel. Now this can get a little confusing, because there's many different ways to calculate contrast ratio, and no agreed upon industry standard. True or static contrast ratio looks at the brightest and darkest parts of a single image simultaneously, while dynamic contrast ratio goes from a full white screen to a full black screen over time, so that number's always much higher. Basically, when calculated properly, true contrast ratio will cap out at 3001 to 5001. If you ever see a manufacturer claiming to have 100,001 or even 1,000,000 to 1, this will be dynamic contrast ratio, so you just need to make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Again, this number is a very hard thing to rely on when comparing different brands of TVs, as everyone seems to measure this differently, so just keep that in mind. Other than that, it's basically just features. There's 3D TVs if that's your thing, and smart TVs can be hooked up to the internet so you can use your TV remote to scroll through YouTube or Netflix without the need for an external device. But these features do come at additional cost. A good idea to save a little bit of cash is to skip the smart TV and buy something like a Chromecast. This just plugs into one of your TV's HDMI ports, and then you can push content like music or movies from your phone, tablet, or computer. It's essentially the same thing for a much lower cost, but it does require you to have another device as a remote. As for the TV we've been looking at here, it's a 55-inch 4K LED TV with great viewing angles and good contrast ratio, and I'm actually really impressed with it. It has built-in Freeview and support to play music and movies straight from a flash drive. The TV itself is very lightweight and the menus are rather basic, but everything's simple to operate. It is VESA compatible, so you'll easily be able to find wall mounts for this model. But what's amazing is it's under $800, proving that we're finally approaching the era of quality, affordable large 4K displays. You can check it out yourself in store or online. I'm Eli from PB Tech. Remember to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.